You can absolutely change your life in less than a year. And this is something that a lot of people think is going to take way more time, takes many years to do. But if you really put your mind to something and you do want to transform your entire life, you can actually do this in a year or less. And that's what the topic of today's video is about. It's about changing your life in less than a year. So it is easier said than done, but I am going to give you some actionable steps that you can take to get started on your transformation. When you put these into action, you are going to see results in less than a year. I mean, year is the baseline, but you are going to see results a lot sooner than that. But we're going to get into 3 main key points that you need to implement into your lifestyle in order to change your life for the better. And the first thing you need to do is you need to find somebody that you're going to emulate, and you need to study them. You need to study what they're doing, study their lifestyle, study how they got into the position that they are in, that you want to be in. Basically, you need to find somebody that you see yourself being in the future, and you need to emulate what they're doing. And the easiest way to do that is, like I said, is just to study that person, study their habits, study their characteristics, what they do for a living, what they do to make money, what they do to get in shape, whatever it is you're chasing. You need to follow that person, and you need to figure out exactly how they're living their lifestyle, and then try to implement that into your own lifestyle so that you can make a change to become more like them. Because what you're doing right now obviously is not getting you the results that you need. So you need somebody to look up to that you can follow after, so you can keep up with them, stay at their pace. And the easiest way to do that, like I said, is just to study them. But then you do want to also learn from them. So if they do have any type of courses, if they do have any type of coaching programs that you can get into, that basically, or even just a one-on-one mentoring from them, any way you can do it, you need to find a way to pay somebody to learn their knowledge so that you can be in the position they're in. And that's the easiest way to interact with these people, is just to pay them and say, hey, like, let me learn what you know. Teach me how to get to the position that you're in and that I want to be in the future. And they're going to lay out a map for you. They're going to give you an actionable plan that you're going to have to use every single day to transform yourself. And this is the key point that a lot of people miss and they skip over. They think they can do everything on their own. Like they have too much of an ego to set that aside and say that, hey, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do something, and I need help to learn how to do it. Like they think that they can just, this person did it, so I can just do my own thing and it's magically going to happen to me. But in reality, you need to have an actual plan that you're going to follow. You need to have people that have already got to that point in life that you want to be at, to tell you the mistakes that they made and what to do and what not to do to reach that level a lot sooner, without having to go through the mistakes that they had to go through and potentially ruin your career. So you want to get there the quickest way possible, and with the path with the least amount of resistance. And the only way to do that is to learn from somebody who's already taken that path, and they know the best path for you to take. And that's really all it is. And the first step is just learning that, figuring out what you're going to do to get to that level, and somebody's going to help you do that. And then the next thing that you have to do after you do that is you need to now take what that person has taught you and all the information that they've given you throughout your mentoring sessions, or whatever you want to call it, courses, coaching program, one-on-one meetings, one-on-one sessions, whatever, group calls, whatever you've learned from that person. You want to soak all that in as much as possible, and then you have to put it to action. Because if you don't, it's basically useless information and you just wasted money. But you need to put that to action. They're going to give you steps that you need to take. They're going to tell you what they did personally to get to the level that you want to get to their level. They're going to teach you how to do that. But the hardest part of this whole thing is putting those words to actions. So you have to take action immediately. You can't put it off and say, I'll do it later on, maybe in a couple months when I'm more financially stable, or when I'm in a better position with my job, or when I quit my job because I've got to work right now to pay the bills. Whatever it is, whatever type of excuses you're coming up with in your head, it's called procrastination. And everyone goes through it. Everyone's got procrastination thoughts that come up in your head that wants to hold you back. And that's natural, but you need to get over that. And you need to start immediately. You need to start now. Tell yourself that this starts on day one and I'm not going to stop. So you need to start putting the plan to action, and you need to wake up every single day and you need to put that plan to use. You can't just do it a couple days a week, work on your goals a couple days a week. It has to be something that you do every single day. That's the quickest way that you're going to get to your goal in less than a year, is just doing it every single day. And what that does is it builds your habits up. You're going to start to become a new person. You're doing this every day. You're putting to use what you learned, and have no choice but to get better. Like, you have no choice but to get better day in and day out. I have a perfect example of this in sales. With my sales job, I started from day one, didn't know anything, didn't know how to make sales, really. Learned the business, took the game from the mentors ahead of me, people that knew better how to make the sales. And I just put that to use every single day. I started out getting no sales, fumbling, messing up, making mistakes, having a lot of no's instead of yeses. And what happens though? I worked every single day, put the knowledge to use every single day. And then months down the road, you're still using the work that I was putting in from day one. I'm still putting in that same work, but the only difference is time. I had enough time to learn things, to figure out how I'm going to do it in my own situation. And all of that came to use, and it turns into experience. And after experience, it turns into sales. So it's just a matter of doing something consistently for a long period of time to the point where you have no choice but to get better. And it's the same with this. You need to do this every day. Whatever you're trying to get better at, you need to do it every day. Whatever you learned from the person that you want to be at in step one, whatever you learned from them and they told you to implement, you got to do that every single day. You got to stay consistent, and you'll have no choice but to get better. Same way. And then the last thing is just don't put a timetable on things. So you're going to have to do the same thing every day. I know some days you're not going to want to put in the work. Some days you don't feel like doing anything. You feel like being lazy, or you feel like procrastinating. You feel like having fun. You need to always find time during the day, every single day, because when you skip a day, what that does is you get comfortable. You skip a day, and then the next day you don't work as hard. And then the next day, maybe you take half the day off and then you don't work as hard. And then you say, okay, this next week, I'm going to get back to really hard work. And then you do get back to really hard work, but then the cycle continues. Every week you get softer and softer, and your habits start to slip. So that's why I say you have to do the same thing every day. You have to attack it every day as hard as you can. And that's the only way it's going to work, because if you don't use it, you lose it. So you have to use the skill set every day until you reach the goal. Like, there's no other way around it. And the tough thing is that we don't know when we're going to reach our goals. We don't know when things are going to fall into place. But the only thing we do know is that if we put the work in, it will happen. And for some people, they have such a short attention span. They've got TikTok brain. Obviously, everything in today's society is built off of short form. So it's short form content, everything short term attention span, because people are, to be honest, just stupid. And you don't want to be one of those people. You want to expand your mindset. You want to stay disciplined for a long period of time. So you have to stay consistent with it. Don't expect results to come right away. They may come right away, which would be great. But even if they don't, they're going to come at some point. And that's kind of what you have to tell yourself, is that I know the results are going to come. It doesn't matter how long it's going to take. I know it's going to happen to me. So You have to always keep that in mind, because if you don't, if you're always looking for a timetable on your success, you're going to get burned out and you're going to feel frustrated, feel like you should be at a higher level or be further along than what you really are. And that's just not true. Everybody moves at a different pace. So you have to just realize that's part of the game and let it all play out for yourself. The only thing you can control is your own work ethic. So you have to do that every single day. You have to come in with a work ethic and you have to put your mind to it and attack the day. And that's the only 3 steps you need to take. You need to study somebody who's in a better position than you. Ask them for help. You need to follow step by step exactly how they did things and what they tell you to do. That's all you have to do, is just listen to them. It's that simple, but people make it complicated because of the time factor. They want results quickly. All you have to do is listen to the person. They'll tell you what to do, follow their steps laid out. It's that simple. And then you need to put the work in and don't expect any result, any timetable. You will get results. Just don't put a timetable on things. It's that simple. Those 3 steps can change your life in less than a year.